So if you're an acoustic guitar nerd like me, you might watch a video like this and think, hey, what kind of guitar is that guy's playing, and what kind of capo does he use, and etc. So let's just have a little gear moment. So I am playing my signature model guitar from the Santa Cruz Guitar Company, which of course is an enormous honor. It's been about 10 years now. And the one that I'm playing today is the actual prototype, which is just super consistent with the production model. I have another one that has a slightly different top wood. And of course, Santa Cruz being mostly like a custom guitar shop, there's a lot of different versions out there, but this is the original recipe. So it's a double low guitar, which is a pretty small guitar. I'm a big guy that likes a little guitar. I've always gravitated towards little guitars. I know in this style of music, the dreadnought is king, but since I don't actually like play in a bluegrass band or something, I'm not really trying to get like a big, powerful bass all the time so much. And I just find it, comfortable to hold, easy to play, and I actually find that it's really loud. I think sometimes a smaller guitar, like other smaller instruments like mandolin and whatnot, they just kind of have this focused frequency range, and they just kind of, it's easier sometimes to use a microphone on stage and to kind of cut through the mix a little bit. So always like little guitars. This one, we did some custom tweaks under the hood, but it's not unlike, a Martin from just after the Civil War in almost every respect. The string spacing's a little wider because I also wear a hat as a fingerstyle player, but also just even with flat picking, it kind of gives me a little more room for me to play a little more cleanly. So the nut is 1 13/16, and the spacing at the saddle is 2 1/4. So that's a little wider than the standard Santa Cruz double O anyway. The scale length is the old Martin scale of 24.9. So just kind of in between the kind of dreadnought scale and then maybe the sort of shorter Gibson 24 3/4. So I really like this. I think the short scale, makes the frets closer together. What's not to like, right? But also just that means that the strings are not quite pulled to the same tension to achieve the same pitch. So I find for like bluesier things like for hammer-ons, pull-offs, but specifically like for vibrato and slide, it's easier for my left hand, and there's just a certain sweetness to the sound. So I'm a big fan of little guitars with a short scale, fairly little bit wider string spacing. I really love a 12-fret guitar. I really feel like that projects more. It's a much bigger sound. I think that a really good secret for somebody who might be considering a small guitar but is worried about volume, if it's a 12-fret guitar, you're going to more than make up for it. You'll have no problem keeping up at the jam. Part of the reason is that it really puts the bridge in the sweet spot. So if you imagine this as the speaker, which is exactly what it is, having that bridge, the distribution center for the energy of the strings, which is the only thing happening in the guitar, right? It's not plugged in. Having that right in the middle of that speaker cone just is the most efficient thing, in my opinion. And then having kind of a smaller rectangular bridge kind of has a little less surface area, so I think things are vibrating really well there too. So these are things you see on classical guitars. They haven't changed much in 150 years for good reason. It also has a slot head, which maybe increases the break angle a little bit. I just like the way it looks, but I like a slot head. The top is Adirondack spruce, and then the backs and sides are cocobolo, which is it's a rosewood, but it's a very heavy, dense rosewood. So hopefully the builder knows to kind of take it down a little bit so it's not too heavy, but it's always going to have a little bit more weight to it. And the thinking there is that it's a very sort of rigid backs and sides, so it's very projecting, which is super important to me. This guitar is just the tiniest, like a 1/4 inch deeper. It's just something we tried, and I think it just adds a little bit more bass. I am not a fan of really deep, small guitars. Sometimes when you play them, they have a lot of oomph, but they're, again, not as projecting. So probably more than you wanted to know about the 00 Skye, but there you go. I don't have a whole lot of other gear. I just have those two guitars. I'm kind of a one guitar guy, like a piano. There's just one piano in the house, so I just, focus on the music. So just the one guitar is the only thing I play.